Sometimes, a sleeve hides a legacy. For 18 months, the personnel at Naval Air Station Oceana had treated civilian contractor Maria Cobbler Vasquez like another maintenance worker struggling to manage boot repair and uniform alterations, content with assuming she was former factory seamstress because she kept her sleeves rolled down during summer heat and never participated in the military conversations that separated veterans from civilian employees who had never served in combat zones. They witnessed her meticulous approach to leather work and uniform modifications, assuming she lacked understanding of military culture and operational requirements, saw her quiet efficiency during equipment repair after long days fixing gear that supported flight operations, and mistook professional dedication for inexperience with military hierarchy that distinguished warriors from support staff who had never deployed overseas or faced hostile environments. What they couldn't see beneath her long-sleeved work shirt and civilian contractor identification was an intricate tattoo covering her right forearm, depicting the insignia of the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, surrounded by dates and coordinates that marked classified missions where her skills as Chief Warrant Officer Maria Vasquez had enabled special operations success during helicopter insertions behind enemy lines. Vasquez had accepted the civilian boot repair position not because she couldn't handle military aviation, but because her medical retirement following multiple combat deployments had left her with chronic pain from injuries sustained during a Taliban rocket attack on her helicopter, while processing survivors' guilt from crew members who hadn't survived that night mission in Afghanistan's most dangerous valleys. The tattoo itself represented more than military service record documentation, as each element commemorated specific operations where her aviation expertise had inserted SEAL teams and Army Rangers into hostile territory during missions so classified that her achievements remained buried in special access programs. While the artistic detail reflected traditional military tattoo culture that honored fallen comrades and mission success through permanent body art, her decision to keep the tattoo covered stemmed from desire to maintain separation between her current civilian employment and previous military service, understanding that revelation of her Special Operations Aviation background might complicate her contractor status, while drawing attention to combat experiences that required continued psychological processing and medical treatment. Welcome to Silent Salute, where we reveal how America's most elite warriors sometimes transition to civilian roles while carrying invisible reminders of classified service, their extraordinary aviation achievements hidden beneath everyday work clothes, while their combat-tested experience remains dormant until recognition moments that shock entire military communities. Before we share this incredible story of hidden valor that transformed an entire air station's understanding of civilian contractors, tell us in the comments about a time when you discovered someone's secret military tattoos that completely revealed their combat service and specialized expertise. And if you believe that our most decorated veterans often serve without recognition while processing experiences through permanent reminders of missions that exceeded normal comprehension, hit that subscribe button to support our mission of honoring those whose classified courage continues protecting freedom through service that transcends uniform requirements and rank structure. Naval Air Station Oceana operated as home of the Navy's premier fighter squadrons where F/A-18 Super Hornets prepared for carrier deployments, supported by civilian contractors whose specialized expertise enabled operational readiness through maintenance services and logistical coordination that maintained squadron effectiveness during complex mission preparation and training cycles. Captain Robert Eagle Morrison managed base contractor operations with corporate efficiency that ensured support services met the demanding standards of naval aviation units, whose mission success depended on reliable equipment maintenance and flawless logistical support during high-tempo flight operations and deployment preparation cycles. The boot repair facility operated as essential support service for flight crews whose specialized footwear required expert maintenance and modification, while uniform alteration services ensured proper fit and functionality for aviation personnel whose equipment demands exceeded standard military clothing and required specialized adjustment and professional craftsmanship. Vasquez, you've been handling boot repair and uniform alterations for over a year without expressing interest in positions that would utilize whatever technical background you gained before this contractor assignment. Are you satisfied with basic leather work? Or do you have goals for more advanced responsibilities within our aviation support structure? Vasquez continued repairing flight boots with attention to detail learned during actual aviation operations where equipment failure meant death during night missions. Understanding that proper gear maintenance enabled pilot safety during combat deployments that required absolute reliability and precision craftsmanship under demanding operational conditions. Captain, specialized maintenance ensures operational safety by providing equipment modifications that enable mission effectiveness. These repairs support flight operations and personnel protection, and someone needs to ensure modifications meet specifications that protect aircrew during demanding flight operations and combat deployments. Senior Chief Petty Officer James Leather Rodriguez, recently assigned to administrative duties after aviation maintenance career, couldn't understand why a civilian contractor would demonstrate such familiarity with military aviation equipment and modification requirements that exceeded normal contractor training and civilian technical preparation. Vasquez, your equipment knowledge and military terminology suggests background that exceeds typical civilian contractor capabilities. Most contractors need extensive orientation to understand aviation requirements and safety protocols, but you immediately adapted to procedures that require military aviation experience and technical expertise. Vasquez's response reflected understanding gained from actual military aviation service where maintenance precision had supported special operations missions, knowing that her Army background provided operational context that enhanced repair accuracy while maintaining safety standards that protected flight crews and mission success. Rodriguez, successful aviation operations depend on comprehensive maintenance systems that enable flight crews to focus on mission objectives. Whether you're conducting combat insertions or training flights, equipment reliability serves operational requirements that demand precision craftsmanship and safety consciousness. The curiosity intensified when base personnel noticed Vasquez's apparent familiarity with specialized aviation equipment and flight gear that exceeded civilian contractor training, leading to speculation about her background and previous experience that might explain her expert handling of complex military aviation equipment and modification procedures. Aviation Maintenance Chief Petty Officer Lisa Wings Thompson, whose own aviation background included multiple deployments, organized informal observations designed to assess whether Vasquez's apparent knowledge represented actual military aviation experience or exceptional adaptation to contractor duties through superior technical preparation. Vasquez, your handling of flight equipment and aviation gear suggests familiarity with military aviation systems and operational requirements. If your background includes technical experience, you should understand aviation maintenance that prepares contractors for working with specialized military flight equipment and safety protocols. Vasquez recognized the questioning as professional interest rather than interrogation, understanding that aviation personnel developed bonds based on shared service experience while maintaining natural curiosity about civilian contractors whose backgrounds couldn't be verified through normal military channels and professional aviation networks. The workplace speculation escalated when contractor supervisors began questioning Vasquez's apparent overqualification for basic repair duties, leading to discussions about her motivations for accepting employment that seemed inconsistent with her obvious technical competence and professional bearing around military aviation personnel and specialized equipment. Contract Supervisor Janet Admin Chun, whose responsibility for contractor management included ensuring appropriate job placement and utilization, joined speculation about Vasquez's background and reasons for accepting repair work that appeared to significantly underutilize her apparent capabilities and technical expertise. I've noticed Vasquez handles aviation equipment and military procedures with unusual competence for civilian contractor. Her familiarity with flight gear and safety protocols suggests background that exceeds normal contractor preparation, but she's never mentioned previous military or aviation experience during employment processing and orientation procedures. The rumors spread throughout the contractor section, with personnel increasingly viewing Vasquez as mysteriously overqualified civilian whose apparent expertise raised questions about her actual background and reasons for accepting repair work that seemed beneath her obvious technical capabilities and professional aviation knowledge. Contractor Supervisor Captain Morrison, whose responsibility for contractor oversight had been complicated by Vasquez's apparent aviation expertise, decided that direct inquiry might reveal information that would explain her unusual competence and help determine appropriate utilization of her apparent technical skills and aviation knowledge. Vasquez, I'm curious about your background and qualifications that prepared you for military aviation contractor work. Your performance exceeds normal contractor capabilities, and your familiarity with our procedures suggests experience that might be better utilized in more advanced positions requiring specialized aviation knowledge and technical expertise. Vasquez understood the implications of Captain Morrison's inquiry, but chose not to reveal military aviation service that would complicate her contractor status, while potentially triggering medical evaluations and disability assessments that could affect her employment and personal privacy regarding combat injuries and psychological treatment. The discovery that would expose Vasquez's hidden identity began during routine safety inspection when contractors were required to wear short sleeves during heat stress evaluation, including personal protective equipment assessment that required full visibility of arms and hands to ensure proper safety protocol compliance and heat injury prevention. The process included comprehensive safety evaluations that examined contractor adherence to occupational health standards, enabling safety personnel to identify potential heat stress risks while ensuring compliance with regulations governing personal protective equipment and workplace safety requirements in high-temperature environments. Safety Specialist Petty Officer Robert Check Davis was conducting Vasquez's heat stress assessment when uniform requirements necessitated short sleeve configuration, revealing forearm tattoo artwork that immediately attracted attention and raised questions about her actual military background and service history. Ma'am, your tattoo displays what appears to be military aviation insignia and operational markings that suggest active duty service. These designs include 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment symbols and mission coordinates that indicate specialized military aviation background and combat deployment experience. Vasquez realized that safety requirements had exposed military service artwork that she had been concealing for employment reasons, understanding that her special operations tattoo would trigger questions about her transition to civilian contractor status and potential medical issues that had ended her military aviation career. The tattoo that Petty Officer Davis discovered represented years of Special Operations Aviation service, with artistic elements that included unit insignia, mission dates, and geographic coordinates recognizable to any military aviation personnel familiar with special operations and their significance for understanding aircrew operational experience and combat deployment history. Captain Morrison, summoned to examine the discovered military tattoo, immediately recognized the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment insignia as symbol of America's most elite aviation unit, understanding that Vasquez's contractor file had somehow failed to document extensive military service and combat aviation experience that exceeded most base personnel. Petty Officer Davis, document these tattoo elements and request immediate verification of this contractor's military service record. 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment represents the most elite military aviation unit, and this artwork indicates significant combat experience and classified mission participation that exceeds normal contractor background documentation. The verification process that followed revealed Vasquez's actual military service record as decorated Army aviator whose combat deployments had included classified special operations missions throughout Afghanistan and Iraq, while her medical retirement documentation explained transition from active duty to civilian contractor employment within supportive military aviation environment. Captain Morrison, reviewing Vasquez's classified military records and aviation qualifications, realized that his contractor section had unknowingly employed a decorated special operations pilot whose aviation expertise and military experience exceeded most base personnel and many active duty aviators. Ms. Vasquez, your military service record shows extensive special operations aviation experience and combat deployments throughout multiple theaters. Your contractor file failed to document 15 years of Army aviation service and medical retirement following combat injuries sustained during special operations missions in hostile territory. Vasquez's response reflected the discretion of someone whose combat aviation experience had prepared her for recognition while maintaining privacy about medical issues that had forced transition from military service to civilian employment within familiar military aviation community. Captain, my Army aviation service included special operations missions and combat deployments supporting ground forces. When the contractor position became available, my military aviation experience provided relevant background for equipment maintenance while allowing continued service to aviation community in civilian capacity. The investigation that followed Vasquez's recognition revealed the administrative oversight that had failed to document her veteran status, while her combat aviation record explained her exceptional performance and familiarity with military aviation procedures that had exceeded normal civilian contractor capabilities and technical knowledge. Aviation Maintenance Chief Thompson, whose own aviation experience included combat deployments, approached Vasquez with obvious professional respect for Special Operations Aviation Service that represented the highest traditions of military aviation and battlefield support for ground forces during classified missions. Maria, your Special Operations Aviation background and combat experience demonstrate continued dedication to military aviation community. Your transition to civilian contractor while maintaining service to aviation personnel honors your special operations background and provides valuable expertise that enhances our maintenance capabilities. The ceremony that followed Vasquez's recognition became teaching moment for entire air station, demonstrating how decorated combat veterans sometimes served in civilian roles while contributing military experience that enhanced operational effectiveness through unique understanding of aviation requirements and military culture. Ms. Vasquez represents the kind of special operations experience that defines military aviation excellence. Captain Morrison announced during base formation that acknowledged her aviation service and contractor contribution. Her 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment background and continued service demonstrate professionalism and expertise that inspire everyone working in military aviation support roles. The aviation mentoring program that Vasquez agreed to establish became legacy that enhanced base aviation knowledge while providing her with meaningful service that honored her Special Operations Aviation background by ensuring personnel received training that could prevent accidents during flight operations and maintenance procedures. Her combat-tested aviation expertise transformed base maintenance procedures while creating educational opportunities that prepared personnel for aviation situations where her battle-proven knowledge could prove critical during actual flight emergencies and complex maintenance challenges that exceeded standard training procedures. Contractor Supervisor Captain Morrison, realizing that his assessment of Vasquez's potential had been based on incomplete information about her military aviation service and special operations experience, approached her with obvious professional respect and appreciation for capabilities he had failed to fully recognize. Maria, I owe you a formal apology for not recognizing your military aviation service and special operations experience. Your 160th tattoo and aviation expertise explain everything I didn't understand about your technical competence and professional bearing around aviation equipment. You are bringing classified operational knowledge to our contractor section while maintaining the professionalism that characterizes special operations veterans. Vasquez used her recognition to establish veteran aviation support programs that combine special operations experience with contractor insights, creating assistance opportunities that help transitioning military aviators find meaningful civilian employment within aviation communities while processing service experiences and medical challenges that accompanied combat aviation careers. The most important lesson from today's discovery, Vasquez explained during veteran transition seminars that became standard throughout Naval Air Station Oceana, is that special operations aviation experience provides perspective and capabilities that continue serving military aviation community in civilian roles. Whether you're flying combat missions or maintaining flight equipment, service continues beyond uniform requirements and active duty status. The contractor assignment had provided Vasquez with opportunity to serve while processing combat trauma and medical issues that had challenged her limits, demonstrating that exceptional veterans could contribute effectively in civilian roles while maintaining capabilities that exceeded normal employment requirements and technical expertise. Admiral Sarah Sky Martinez, visiting Naval Air Station Oceana for operational assessment, had requested tour of contractor facilities to evaluate support services that enabled squadron effectiveness. When Captain Morrison introduced Vasquez and explained her Special Operations Aviation background that had been recently discovered through tattoo recognition and service record verification. Ms. Vasquez, your 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment service represents the pinnacle of military aviation excellence, Admiral Martinez stated during facility inspection. Your transition to civilian contractor while maintaining service to naval aviation demonstrates continued dedication that honors your special operations background and provides invaluable expertise that enhances our aviation capabilities. The Admiral's recognition of Vasquez's Special Operations Service created base-wide awareness of veteran contributions to contractor services, while her personal acknowledgement of the tattoo's significance validated the artistic tradition that honored military aviation service and combat mission participation through permanent body art that commemorated sacrifice and achievement. Years later, when Vasquez established her own aviation maintenance business while maintaining contractor relationships with multiple military installations, her story continued inspiring aviation personnel who understood that true service excellence often belonged to veterans whose special operations achievements exceeded their current civilian employment and contractor assignments. Her example reminded everyone that at Naval Air Station Oceana, as in all military aviation installations, the most critical experience often belonged to personnel whose combat aviation service had been earned through missions where heroism meant successful insertion and extraction of special operations forces under hostile fire rather than seeking recognition or career advancement opportunities. The moment when Admiral Martinez recognized her 160th tattoo had lasted only minutes, but its impact continued for years, demonstrating that true aviation excellence often remained hidden until circumstances revealed artwork that transformed understanding of service dedication and special operations sacrifice that continued serving military community through civilian employment. This story was brought to you by Silent Salute. Before we leave you today, here's our question. Have you ever discovered that someone's hidden military tattoos revealed extraordinary special operations service that completely changed your understanding of their combat aviation experience and continued dedication? Have you worked alongside veterans whose body art commemorated classified missions while they served in positions that seemed inconsistent with their special operations background? Tell us in the comments about moments when hidden military tattoos were revealed and transformed your perspective on someone's special operations experience and continued service to military aviation community. And if you believe that our most elite veterans often serve without recognition while carrying permanent reminders of missions that exceed civilian comprehension, hit that subscribe button to support our channel's mission of honoring those whose special operations courage continues protecting freedom through service that transcends uniform requirements and active duty status. Nobody questions Vasquez's aviation expertise anymore. Not after Admiral Martinez recognized the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment tattoo that revealed 15 years of classified missions where her pilot skills inserted America's most elite warriors into hostile territory during operations that history will never fully record.